for the monthly service fee increases. We had the gal from LCS did the letters kind of based on files that David had in his files, and they didn't line up right, and so there were many errors in there, and I really want to apologize for that. I know it was confusing, especially to those residents that live in the apartments, and it said your garden home will now be. So I had people calling saying, I don't live in the garden homes, and I was like, I know, I apologize for that. It was kind of just a template letter, so I do apologize for that, and hopefully you all got the revised letter and it's correct, and no further issues with that. I'll just talk a little bit about our occupancy. We continue to grow really in every level of care. In independent living, we're at 88% occupied and 93% sold. We had five sales in July, and Diana told me yesterday they're going to try to make it 7 for the month of August. So that'll definitely help with moving some of those folks in to increase our independent living occupancy. At Woodside, we're at 68%, and we are 74% sold. So at one point, we had dropped way down at Woodside, and we're starting to see that grow back up as well. And then our health center, since we reopened the rehab July 20th, and since then we've had really good occupancy in our rehab. We currently have 9 residents that are in rehab. We have 3 of our 16 beds that we have in rehab. Those are still being held kind of with it's called our COVID unit. With a COVID unit, you need to have a separate entrance, it's called an ante-room, where the staff goes in and they kind of gown up with all the PPE, and then you have to have a separate break room for the staff in that area. So we actually have 4 rooms that are offline because they're using one of those rooms as a break area. And it's if you were to walk into our rehab, it's kind of behind. We hung some curtains. Originally there was visqueen that was put up, that heavy plastic, and it kind of gives it a little bit of a scary look, I guess, if you're just coming in for some short-term rehab and you're wondering what's behind the plastic. So we did get some curtains to put up over the top of that to make it look a little bit more aesthetically pleasing for those that were coming in for rehab. So we have 9 in our rehab. We have 4 offline, so that we have 3 available in rehab, which is far from where we've been in the past. So we're really happy to see those numbers grow. Our total health center in rehab percentage is 63% currently. I know that we've had some private pays move in from outside in the community. The admissions coordinator is working with an additional 2 people right now that are looking at moving into to our health center. So as I said, we continue to see that grow. So that's kind of how we're doing in occupancy. Any questions at all with occupancy? I guess the next thing is our master plan. So I've talked a lot about in our meetings how we've refinanced our bonds. Our budget is now complete. I said to Ken, I said, I have to remember what I used to do. Because I've been doing so much accounting and all of this finance stuff that it's like, wow, what did I used to do as the executive director? So one of the things is really kind of the vision for Friendship Village, and what does that look like in a master plan. And we've talked a lot about the new health center, and also kind of the redesign of our kitchen, because our kitchen is really small. Main Street, the cafe, maybe turning that into more of a bistro slash pub where it might be opening. It might be open in the evenings, so that you have your option of where you'd like to have your meal. And then just kind of redoing our dining room a little bit. So part of that master plan was looking at what the finance team and the fund development team decided to do was look at a capital campaign. And what would that look like out in the community, and what type of support would we get for people outside of the community? We hired a consultant to do that because he kind of knows the movers and the shakers in Kalamazoo. We're certainly not going to get anything near the $400 million that the city of Kalamazoo got, which is just amazing, isn't it? And what a great gift that is. But we really wanted to know, what is the perception out in the community of Friendship Village? And really it came back with what we've thought a lot about is Friendship Village is, you have to be wealthy to live at Friendship Village. That's part of the perception of the people that are looking at philanthropy out in the Kalamazoo area, is that Friendship Village doesn't need the money because everybody that lives there is wealthy and has a lot of money. So, I said, I think there's some opportunity for educating, number one, that we're a life care community, and basically, we have benevolent care that I don't think people understand that we have and that we do. So maybe a portion of that is educating on that benevolent Friends Fund and the friendship discount that actually kicks into place for people that are outliving their assets. But overall, for the project itself, we just kind of took a ballpark figure and said, we're looking at doing about a $21 million project. That includes the health center and then all of Main Street, everything, the whole new kitchen, everything that I've kind of talked about. And we sent out, this consultant did a survey with a lot of folks outside of the Kalamazoo area, and maybe even perhaps with some of our residents that live here. And he came back to us and he said, you do have support out there, but not $21 million in support. You have a little bit more in terms of maybe 2.5 to 3 million, which, hey, that's a huge help. If we're looking at building a new health center, obviously it's not going to cover the whole project, but it definitely helps to put a dent into that as we start looking at what's necessary. The support also showed that that people out in the community would support a health center before they would support the cafe and kitchen revisions that were necessary, but definitely the support would come for a new health center. And we know we need a new health center. It's 45 years old. It's gone through a lot of wear and tear. It's gone through several facelifts, if you will, over the years, and it's just grown tired and old looking, and we just can't stay competitive, especially if we're going to be trying to get private pay people from outside in the community, with some of our cinder block walls, and it just definitely needs some updating compared to what our competitors have out there. So we'll probably be moving forward with that capital campaign. We had the option of continuing with this consultant who does this as his business, and he's a little bit pricey, and Ken said, I think I can do this. He said he gave him all the tools that he would need to be able to move forward with the capital campaign, and so we will most likely move forward with that master planning. Part of that then is the plan itself. We started doing the master plan, and then COVID hit, and everything got put on hold. And we're talking about now getting everybody back together, and then we have the Delta variant. So I'm not sure what's going to happen with that. We were looking at mid-September and bringing the group back together, who's kind of looking at kind of the overview. Life Care Services Development is the kind of does the oversight for the whole master plan. And so they would come in and they would meet, and it's about a 4-hour meeting that we all get together and just kind of brainstorm in terms of, what do we do next moving forward? What are the next steps with that? So depending on what happens with the Delta variant and the rising numbers of COVID cases in the area, I'll definitely keep you all abreast in terms of if we decide to move forward with that plan or if we have to push it off. I don't think that we really want to do it, or I could be wrong, but I put out a question to LCS to say, do we want to do this as a Zoom meeting, or is it something that we want to be kind of all in the same room, that we're sharing the ideas? And it's hard to do when you're on a Zoom meeting when you have people that have different ideas and then people are talking over each other, and it's just kind of hard to do. So, I'm okay with maybe pushing it off for another month just to kind of see what happens. What we don't know is where we will be with the Delta variant. I know it was not a happy announcement for residents to, have to hear, look, we have to start wearing our masks again. I don't think we're going to be making any other big changes at all with all of this, but what it does is it helps for you to hopefully stay free and clear of COVID, of getting COVID. It is, we also know that the variant is, that those that are vaccinated are more protected than those that are unvaccinated with this particular variant. So it's just a more contagious variant of COVID than what COVID was itself, and that's why it's going through so rapidly. When I looked at Kalamazoo is currently 8.4% positivity rate, and that was about where we were in May. So it went down pretty significantly from May, and we almost had all summer without having to go back into any masks, but it's climbing fast. We were at about 2.2 a couple of weeks ago, and now we're up to 8.4. And once we get over 10% is when the Michigan Department of Public Health starts getting involved more with the skilled nursing and the assisted living. But at this point, please know that we're trying everything that we can do to not have to put additional restrictions in, but at the same time making sure that we're trying everything that we can do to keep you all safe. We went back to the health surveys just as a reminder, just because sometimes when you're just not feeling good, you don't think to bring that to the attention of a home health nurse. But it's important that we know that you're just not feeling well, because it doesn't take us a couple of seconds to do a quick test, even if it's they call it the POC test, which is the rapid test, and we have that back within 15 minutes, and you have a little bit more peace of mind of knowing that we did the test and you're negative versus not doing it. So so as I said, we're trying to not make a whole lot of changes at this point. I've already been talked to by several residents who have said, we see residents walking around here without their mask on. You should fine them, you should give them service fee changes, and I can't fine the residents for not doing it. This is really a request to make sure that you're wearing your mask to protect yourself and to protect the residents that you live with here. It's a little bit different than living in your own home, and you don't have to worry about other people. So we really appreciate your commitment in doing that, and I don't think it hurts if you see somebody that isn't wearing their mask and it's not up over their nose to say, hey, can you put your mask up, or could you put your mask on, please? And let us know who those people are at the front desk, and we're happy to have that conversation with them if you do feel uncomfortable, making it or approaching that person about not wearing their mask. Hopefully that's going to be enough to keep it out of here. We continue to test all of our staff that are unvaccinated. I get a lot of calls. In fact, I just took another call from a family member on Tuesday about why we're not mandating the vaccine. So it's it's a very fine line in terms of why we're not mandating the vaccine. Number one, it's still not approved. I have had staff members say, as soon as it's approved, I'll get it. Pfizer's been approved?
Just about.
Just about? Well, we all got Moderna, but they can go get Pfizer. Yep, Pfizer is available to them at different pharmacies and such. So I do have several staff members that have said, once it's approved by FDA, I'll go get the vaccine. But secondly, if they are a firm believer and do not want this vaccine, whether or not they're just anti-vaxxers is kind of what they're called, or they're young women who there's not enough data yet to know what it does to the reproductive cycles or system that want to have a family, and they don't know if that's going to decrease their chances. And so if we were to mandate it at this point, we have a lot of staff that have said then we'll leave. So it's kind of a fine line when we're trying to take care of residents, especially in our health center and assisted living, and we have staff saying we'll walk out the door. So we have to kind of weigh those options. We know that Spectrum Hospital in Grand Rapids has mandated. Borges or Ascension has mandated, but they have, from my understanding, they have until like October 18th to get the vaccine, or to be vaccinated, I guess. For that would include their second shot. We have other communities that are saying, if you don't get the vaccine, they're testing and the staff has to wear the masks. So other staff that are vaccinated would not have to, kind of like we did for those of you that have been here in the past with our flu shots. If we had a staff member who refused to get a flu shot, they had to wear a mask at work every day. So to make sure that they weren't passing the potential flu along to any of our residents. And some other communities are doing that so that it's still their choice, but yet we're testing them every week, and they have to wear a mask while they're here every day at work. The health center in Woodside currently all of the staff has to wear a surgical mask. And the reason for that is that they're doing more direct care and really close up with the residents, and so the surgical masks have a better, how do I put it? It's less transmissible through a surgical mask than it would be through just a cloth mask. So anytime any of the staff goes into the health center or Woodside, they're supposed to be wearing the surgical mask. And that would be the same with any resident that's going to visit other residents in those areas. You'll probably be asked to change your mask out if you're not wearing a surgical mask to the cloth mask. If you're not wearing a surgical mask, you'll be asked to change over to a surgical mask. And those would be available to you in the health center or at Woodside if you're going to visit residents there. So we're just keeping a really close eye on things right now. When I looked at the Kalamazoo data on the Michigan STAR map today, there's only been at least one death reported, like over a 2 to 3 week period. So I know that it's putting people into the hospital. I don't know how much quicker that people are passing away, but it definitely did not show that on the Michigan Star map. But I did overhear somebody in the dining room today and stopped and just said I wasn't trying to eavesdrop, but I heard him say that we couldn't have guests in the dining room anymore, and that's not true. So you can continue to have guests in the dining room as long as they're vaccinated, because they'll be taking their mask off. So that still is the same, and they have to make sure that they're vaccinated. We've seen kids in the cafe that we know are not the age of 12, and they're eating in the cafe, and we know they didn't get the vaccine. They've been vaccinated. Well, no, they haven't, because they can't have it because they're under 12, or under 12 years old. So, we just really have to go by that trust factor as much as we possibly can, and making sure that we're following that kind of that rule here in Friendship Village. Jim?
Betsy, I understand your dilemma with the can't mandate people get it, and appreciate that, having been there before myself. But the question is, you've got constant turnover, you're hiring people. Are you making it a requirement that your new hires are already vaccinated or will get vaccinated?
So Jim's question was, what about for people that we're hiring into positions? Are you mandating that they're vaccinated before they come in? And currently we're not, just because we need the people. We need people in here to help, serve. And we've talked a little bit about, if you were here in the budget meeting, I know we talked about some of the dining challenges that we've had, or the quality of food challenges that we've had in the dining room. And a portion of that is, why aren't we having the stir fry, and why aren't we having the prime rib, and some of the different fun things that kind of shake it up a little bit in the dining room. And really, part of I guess the biggest reason we're not is because of staffing. And I told Ryan, I said, I'll cook if you need somebody to do some stir fry. I'll stand behind the burner and I can make some stir fry for people. So we'll all chip in and help. But we need to start doing this for the residents. We need to shake it up a little bit and give you some of those things back that we used to do. But staffing is such a challenge. He had just recently he has lost 3 cooks. 2 of them had work injuries, and a third walked out the door on this past weekend. So that's 3 cooks, just like that within, I think, a week and a half. And it's a challenge out there to try to hire cooks right now. They're really, really difficult to get. You'll see all the restaurants, they're all looking for it. I actually posted yesterday on my Facebook page, I get the Kalamazoo Valley Culinary, there's a group. And I put on there, Friendship Village is hiring, because why not? I said, Friendship Village is hiring. I said the great hours. We do, quality food for our residents. There are no late hours, because most of the cooks that have to work in restaurants and they're going to school, they don't want to have to work until 11, 12 o'clock at night. They can get out early and continue with their studying, and so I actually got several likes on my comment that Friendship Village was hiring. So, if you know anybody out there that is looking for a job in the cooking field, definitely send them our way. And Ken was on a call with one of our resource teams, and one of the communities, and I can't remember if he said it was in Connecticut, I believe, but Amazon just built a new center there where they do all their distribution, and he said he was left with 3 servers and 1 cook in his entire department. Amazon scooped them all up. I said, I don't know what we would do. I mean, what do you do in that situation? I guess we all pitch in and we all start, helping, but I just said, hopefully Amazon doesn't come too close to town where people are gonna, try to leave. And it's not like Amazon is a great job either. I think they, as Ken said, they kind of churn through their staff because you don't have an option if you want to work 8 hours. Here's your deliveries, and it's about a 12 to 15 hour delivery. So I think they burn through their staff pretty quickly, but we hope we don't even have to face that challenge. So kind of got off on a tangent there. Trying to remember what I was talking about. One of the things that we're going to do, and you'll start seeing a little bit of the vibe behind this, is LCS kind of across all of the communities is doing what's called a turning the tide, and it's I think it was a little premature because it was getting out of COVID, and now seems like we're getting back into it a little bit. But it will be considered, we're going to celebrate and do that along with all of the other communities on the same day. And then everybody will, put that on their social media and put the hashtag #OneLCS. And but the whole week will be Island Week, and so every day there's something different that we're doing that have to do with the islands. And then the Turning the Tide is actually a special meal that we will have, and there's actual special colors, navy blue and white, and so that's something kind of fun to look forward to. So keep an eye out for that. I want to say that is in later this month, in a couple of weeks. So hopefully we'll be able to do it with everything going on with COVID, but we'll keep you posted on that. If you happen to get a survey, one of the things that Life Care Services does, and you've probably seen it on a lot of our literature, is J.D. Power is a company that we actually won an award with 2 years in a row for highest satisfaction rates within Life Care Services communities. And so J.D. Powers actually puts out a survey, and you may or may not get this. It's random, so I see some people shaking their head, but there are many of you that may not get it because it goes to several residents in each one of their communities. But they do their survey based on the satisfaction of this Life Care Services community. So if you get one of these, please fill it out and turn it back in. It really is helpful for J.D. Powers, just like ours is. We do our own resident satisfaction survey, and that should be coming out, I believe, in September or October of this year, probably October. And we like to have those resident satisfaction surveys. Even if you think we're doing a great job, it really helps us to determine, number one, are the numbers real? Because if we only get those people that have concerns or complaints, then it doesn't tell us about the people that are happy living at Friendship Village and the different services and things that we provide. So this one is a little bit different. It's a J.D. Power, and if you get that, we really appreciate that you fill that out and send that back in. And then we will do our own in October. What I do with those is I typically, once we get those satisfaction scores back in, I do a presentation. I think I've done it at my Betsy's Corner before, where we talk about the results of that survey, and then the directors and I get together and come up with an action plan on the things that you'd like to see improvements on, and then we work on that action plan for those concerns or ideas that you might have. So again, stay tuned for that. That'll be this fall. That'll be coming out, and we'll also be doing an employee one. We do one every other year, and unfortunately with COVID, it was really an off year, and is it really going to give us the true story of how we're operating and such with all of COVID and especially with employees as well. we're still gaining back some of those FTEs that we lost with COVID. And it's a challenge getting those staff back in right now because some of them are getting the additional dollars for the federal unemployment, and then now I understand people are getting $300 per child to help them out as well. So that doesn't help us out when we're trying to hire people, that hopefully need the money to work. So really, there's not a lot more that I have. What would anybody else want to chat about? Different things? Yeah, Faye?
I don't remember that when we had charter for television, that we had problems with anything freezing up. There was a few days, it was a break, but then on every channel I watched, the program freezes for maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes. That's really irritating.
That's still happening with yours, Faye?
Yes. And I'm sure the front desk is getting tired of having me call and report it.
It actually is better if you call the number that you got. I know we sent out a flyer on Cam, the concierge that was here. I'm not sure if he's staying. I know he's going to go back to school. And I said to Centrix, can we at least see if he'll stay on part-time until we get the position hired? But we sent out a flyer and it has the number to call, which goes directly to their service. And it helps when you do that at the time that it's happening to you, because they can get right on the line and look and see what's actually happening. Not that that takes away from your concern, because I do realize that that's a concern, and we've had several residents that has happened to, and they have gotten on and looked at the different times that it's happened and what is actually happening behind the scenes. It's a different system that they're using. They're not using the cable system, they're using the internet system, and so that's a piece of it. And that's why we didn't experience it when we had the actual cable, but I'm still getting everybody says to me, well, why did we change? We didn't have any problems with Spectrum, what is it? It's been 2.5 years since we've changed, and I'm still dealing with Spectrum. I still get collection letters, our account is behind, and it's just like, they're just not a very well-run company that can service and take care of the issues. And that was half of the battle, because they wouldn't even let us call on your behalf because it was in your name, and so that wasn't really I didn't feel that was doing our residents a very good service when we're trying to correct issues for you, and they wouldn't talk to us, and they would want to talk to Mrs. Smith, and Mrs. Smith didn't really understand what was happening, and it just was a whole trickle-down effect, and that's one of the main reasons why we changed, as well as we needed a whole business phone. Our business phones were obsolete, and we couldn't even get parts anymore for the business phones. So the business phones and the resident phones, everything kind of got lumped into that one lump program. I will make sure to get a hold of Ed Bosher, I think is his name. He looks at everybody's TVs that are freezing up and works with the engineers to find out why. So and correct the problem. So I will get with Ed on both of yours. Is there anybody else that is experiencing well, you're with Spectrum, but yours is freezing?
He was out to the house a week or so ago.
And he said it's Spectrum.
He said it's fine.
Spectrum's problem.
Oh, it's Spectrum's problem.
He acknowledged.
Oh,
But it's still doing it.
oh,
Not a lot.
okay.
And it only lasts about 5 seconds, not 5 minutes. But if I've had it on for a while, it'll do it.
Did he tell you what he was gonna do about it?
Nothing.
He said it's fine.
Oh,
He said that's normal for Spectrum.
oh, it is,
Yeah.
okay.
He said it could be either transmission from the studio, it could be a sunspot, and any number of things. But he said that's normal for Spectrum.
Okay. All right. And yours is freezing? No,
They fixed the problem.
they did fix it?
Yeah.
Okay,
I had another question related to that. When I went on the new company's website, they do have the Hallmark Murders and Mysteries, which is what we lost when we changed from Spectrum to this. I find that we have a lot of movies that I don't think are particularly something that is appropriate. Sometimes they're pretty bad. And I think Hallmark's Mysteries and Movies channel is available, but apparently at some higher level. And it's my understanding we've negotiated a somewhat long contract with the new service. I'm just wondering if anyone else would like that. When I told them about Murders and Mysteries, a lot of people came up to me and said they really enjoyed it. And we have a basic Hallmark channel, but it's mostly rerun movies that are played over and over with only a few new things that happen.
and there's an upgraded Hallmark?
Yeah, it's called Murders and Mysteries. It came on about, I would say 3 years ago or something like that. And it has new things on it all the time, plus it's, it's quality entertainment as it compared to some, what I would call, movies that I wouldn't want to watch.
Okay, I'll check into that and see if we can,
Yeah.
get it added or
I
switched.
went online and see if they had it or not.
Yeah,
And I talked to Ken about it, but he says, well, we got some more things and we lost something in that. So that was the answer I got when I proposed the question.
okay.
So I've asked about it before.
I'll get a hold of them and see if we can get it added.
Yeah, I think it's quality programs and not these violent movies and, nudity and all the stuff that we seem to have a lot more of now. And more shopping networks for all of us that have too much stuff.
Okay. Barbara, was yours freezing?
Yes, but I got instant results from the young fellow that he hired to come.
Okay,
One time he came in person, another time he called me because it was like midnight, and he's been very helpful.
okay. So yours is resolved?
Yes,
Okay. Is yours freezing, Dave?
No.
Okay. Wait, where's some wood? I need to mark them up.
I know from personal experience that you've become the Centric's concierge. And my question is, did I hear you correctly that, is it Kevin who's been the concierge, maybe leaving?
Cam.
Oh, okay. And
Well, I'm not sure. The last I had heard,
my question is, does our contract with Centric's obligate them to provide the concierge to Venture Village?
it does. So, Dave's question was, does our contract require Centrix to provide the concierge? Originally, when we signed on with ESCO, the concierge was a 1-year term, and then we would have to start paying for it. In talking with Tim McGuinn, who has taken over, he's kind of the CEO, if you will, of Centrix. I had a conversation with him, I think it was just last week, and he told me that we would never have to pay for that, and that will be something that is always provided to us. He also has increased the starting wage on that position, because that has been a challenge, trying to get somebody who has the knowledge for that type of a system. And so he's increased that, and hopefully, I don't, as I said, I don't know if Cam has agreed to stay on part-time until they find somebody full-time, but that was my suggestion versus not having anybody. So, I still need to get that in writing from Tim, only because, you know, I'm in this seat for I don't know how long, and I would hate for somebody else to come in and then not have that written down by them, that they give us that promise, especially because it's in our contract. I've written it right on our contract that per Tim on this date, we'll never have to pay for the concierge again, but I've asked for him to send me something in writing based on that. Anything else anybody wants to chat about? Rena?
I'd like to chat about a handicap opener for H door.
Okay, so,
H is, the outside door is particularly heavy, and people trying to get in and out with walkers have great difficulty.
so for those of you that may not have been able to hear Rena, she would like to chat about the H door needing a handicap push button. I'm going to go around to all the doors with Brandon and Ken, and we're going to get this written up on the Greatest Needs Fund, because we have talked about this for months and months now, and nothing has happened with it. So I need to find out. Yeah, we'll go around the whole campus. I think it almost needs to be at every door. I mean, everybody goes in all the different doors. I think the difficulty about the one down, and I'm sorry, I don't know what door it is, that goes, it's at the end of the building 5 that goes downstairs. Is it F? That's not F. F? Is that F? Yeah, I'm not sure how, if a handicap accessible is right for that door, because I don't know that people can go up and down with a walker anyways. You know what I mean? So, but we'll walk around this campus and we'll look at every door and we'll get it written up on the Greatest Needs. And as I said, I've asked them to move forward on this several times, so I'll walk around with them and we'll get that done.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm sorry it's taken so long. I know it's a challenge to get in and out of. I will give you an update on the clubhouse. We found out, okay, so I'll go back just a little bit. The street address was wrong, so the fire marshal would not allow us to get a certificate of occupancy because of the address. We got the address changed at the city finally, and then Simplex, who is our fire contractor, who does all of our wiring to the clubhouse, to the fire department, and the clubhouse to Friendship Village. Again, they're in the same boat in terms of employees and getting somebody here. They finally got somebody here, and he came in last Thursday and Friday, and he left without telling anybody anything, and it had not been completed. And so I found out yesterday they were in, and I'm hoping by tomorrow we have a certificate of occupancy. So we'll send out a one call on that one. We'll do a celebration because it seems like it's taken forever, and it's not from lack of trying. We've been on the call almost every day with these contractors saying, look, there's no reason our residents shouldn't be able to use this brand new building because your guy didn't get the system hooked up. So we'll see hopefully by tomorrow we'll have that certificate of occupancy and we can start using the clubhouse. Anything else? Yes.
The scarcity of shopping carts. When we come back, there often is a big dolly with work materials on it at Cedar, and there's rarely any shopping carts there.
under the steps at Door.
Yeah,
So there should be in every door, the stairs, I can't think today. The stairwells, there should be at least a couple of carts in each one of those.
There has been, and all of a sudden, you know, since we've been going back and forth and to the lake, we had to mostly go to the lobby to find anything, because they're just not around.
Okay. In case you didn't hear what she said, there's a shortage of the shopping carts to help with groceries and such. Every morning when I walk in, I rearrange the front lobby. Every morning, everybody, and residents always say, "Oh, is that your second job?" It's like every morning, I'm rearranging the carts because there's either none there, or there's 5 of them, and they all have to be underneath the stairwells, and so I'll take them around to the different stairwells that, you know, don't have any in, making sure that, okay, this one's got 1, so yeah, this one could use 2 more. So, I guess I'm just gonna have to get a system down with Brandon, that somebody's looking at those every day and making sure that, you know, we find them up on the floors, the residents will take them up, and they'll take their groceries out, and they'll set it out in the hallway, and there it sits until maybe dinner time, if they decide to come down for dinner and bring the cart. And sometimes it's the staff, you know, trying to find its home because it's been left in the hallways. So, you know, that's a challenge, and apparently it's become my new job to figure out where the shopping carts go. I know that, I think that Woodside, I think that there's families would bring groceries in and different things for, especially the past couple of months or so. I think with COVID, families bring groceries in, and then they bring them up in the carts, and then they get shoved underneath their stairwell, where, you know, they don't need that. But I think there were 10 in there one time when I went and looked. So we're just...
Recently, there haven't been a lot with signs. At one time, there was a whole bunch of them.
Okay.
There's a staircase near us that I've gone and actually looked. But somehow, we had all these wonderful carts everywhere, and now we only have a few carts, and they seem to be very scarce. And I don't know why.
Okay. I will definitely look into that. They're hiding somewhere. It could be that staff has put stuff in them and pushed them into an apartment that, you know, we are either using for the, do you ever find any in the apartment that they put the extra supplies in for the store?
I don't know, I don't have anything to do with that.
Okay. All right, I'll find them. We'll get it figured out. You know, I could put little notes on there that says this one belongs under, you know, C door, and I'll find it under A door. And I mean, that never helped either when we tried to put little identifiers on there that, you know, these go to certain areas. So, we'll have to come up with a system that somebody's looking out for those and making sure that they're in the stairwells. Yes?
Are you trying to keep carts out of the front lobby, because that, I find those to be very helpful?
No, what I'm saying is I don't think we need 5 carts in the front lobby. It also is a little bit of it's hard enough when we're bringing marketing guests in and we have that screening area that we never used to have, and it's just not super inviting, but sometimes there'll be, you know, 5, 10 carts up in that front lobby. I think if we have 2 big carts and a couple little carts, I think that's plenty. It seems to be plenty, or at least it has over, you know, this past probably 6+ months. But no, I'm saying that if there's a lot of them there, I'll take them back to under the stairwells where people would use them. Or if there aren't any, I'll go find them and bring them up to the front lobby. Because I agree, I think that there's packages that are dropped off for residents, groceries that are dropped off for residents, and those are the great carts to be used to be able to bring those around to everybody. What else? We got 10 minutes. All right, well, I'm gonna give you your 10 minutes back then. Enjoy the rest of the afternoon. It's been a beautiful week. Hopefully you've been able to get outside and enjoy some fresh air. So thanks for coming today, and as always, if you have anything in between, make sure you're emailing me, call me, and I'll get back with you. Thanks so much for coming. I was gonna say, I got Moira's. Lucky you. Oh, they gave you $1 in there? That's weird. That says what it is, right? Yeah. Yes, if you would, yep. And if you hear of anybody that got one, Moira. Gosh, getting up, stretching. Gotta get it working again, right?
I thought, from a distance.
Sure? Fall out of your chair. All right.
Right. No. Well, you want to pop them, but you're not supposed to do that. Have you been working?
No.
No. Whoa. I don't hear that from you.
I'm relaxing a little bit before I start.
Okay, I think you deserve to.
I'm going, Betsy's picking me up Friday afternoon.
Okay.
Guess that's gonna be nice because, Meredith was there and she's gonna be leaving around the 18th. A couple of days anyway.
We'll have both granddaughters.
They'll be lonely. Everybody else in your family doing okay?
Everybody's doing fine.
Good, good.
All right.
Okay.
I think I'm off.
Yeah.
I'm off to the front desk.
Okay, those. Careful. Well, I'll see.
Well, that was a worthwhile meeting.
Yeah, it was. Uh-huh.
I was so confused, I didn't know if we were Zooming or in person.